Macron will lose seat. Voters done with president's vendetta against UK that got nothing in return. The European Union figurehead has launched frequent outbursts against the UK following the historic Brexit referendum in June 2016, which saw more than 17 million people in Britain vote to leave the EU. Mr. Macron has been particularly critical of the UK's stance in fishing negotiations, which he claims have held back his country's fishermen from accessing British territorial waters after Brexit. The simmering tensions between France and the UK exploded last month when the French president reportedly branded Boris Johnson a clown and a knucklehead. The comments attributed to Mr. Macron were made privately to a small group of his advisers during a visit to Croatia the previous week, French satirical weekly Le Canard Enchaîné reported. He had reportedly attacked Mr. Johnson for looking to make France a scapegoat for Brexit, which he claimed had been catastrophic for Britain. But Niall Gardner, a foreign policy analyst and former aide to Margaret Thatcher, warned his Brexit bashing means he faces a huge fight ahead of the presidential elections in May. He said, "Even in France, the French people have had enough of it." His anti-British rhetoric doesn't play well for most French voters. Macron is on a vendetta against the UK. He has called Brexit a crime, and this is pathetic posturing from a sinking presidency that is desperately lashing out at the UK because frankly, Brexit has been a great success. That is very upsetting to Euro-federalists like Macron, as they don't want to see Britain succeed. Macron has tried to undermine Britain at every opportunity on the migrant issue. He is an extremely petty-minded individual who believes in creating constant conflict with the British people. Mr. Gardner added, "This is a strategy that will hurt France, and the French will tire of this tedious anti-British approach. It won't help him at the polls, as he looks like a bitter person when French voters have bigger concerns than attacking the British. He wants to appear as a big world leader, but the French people can see through that. This hate-fueled language won't help him at the polls. He looks desperate and pathetic." Mr. Gardner went as far to say Macron's continued criticism of Britain has left him isolated in Europe as other nations begin to accept the UK's departure from the bloc. Macron's presidency has seemed stable, though the standard is admittedly very low. Like Sarkozy and Hollande, the incumbent president is also disliked domestically, but the mere fact that his re-election looks probable shows how his dull centrism has nevertheless come to represent a refuge from otherwise extreme forces in French politics. A moderate candidate like Macron, who is the founder of the En Marche movement, benefits from France's two-round voting system, wherein the top two finishers proceed to a runoff should no candidate receive a simple majority in the first round. As of December 5, 38 candidates from a hodgepodge of parties had declared their candidacy for the French presidency. A December 8 poll conducted by Ipsos Soprasteria for France Info and Le Parisien seeking to mimic the first round of voting saw 25% of likely voters opt for Macron, with Le Pen and Valérie Pécresse, the Les Républicains candidate, tied for second place at 16% each. Zemmour received 14%, while various leftist candidates, including veteran Jean-Luc Mélenchon of La France Insoumise, Greens nominee Yannick Jadot, and Socialist Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo, earned 8, 7, and 5%, respectively. As president, Macron has, at times, sought to preempt far-right gains by adopting controversial measures like this year's Islamist separatism bill, which many claim unfairly targets France's 6 million Muslims and could criminalize innocuous behavior like wearing a hijab in the name of fighting terrorism. He has, however, remained steadfast to his neoliberal economic ideals and refused to budge on his unwavering support for the European project. France is set to assume the EU presidency on January 1, 2022, for a period of 6 months.